Brahma Chalani making his first appearance on the Newshour tonight. I'm so delighted to see you on the debate this evening. Is one of India's best known strategic affairs analysts and writers, and Maruf Raza is India's foremost strategic affairs expert. Both of them will add perspective on this story tonight. Seshadri Chari on the political perspective heads the foreign affairs cell of the BJP and is a member of its national executive. Dr. Mehboob Beg represents the perspective of the UPA government. He is a member of parliament of the National Conference. Junaid Mattu is a columnist and political analyst. He also represents the J&K People's Conference. And Kumar Ketkar is a chief editor of the Daily Divya Marathi of the Bhaskar Group, who says, I am in favor of the government policy, be it on China or Pakistan. So he represents, I'm not saying this to show a tilt, but he represents a view which is sympathetic to the government on this subject.
Actually, whichever government, maybe the government, this should be the line.
But as of now, this government.
As of now, this government. But even when Vajpayee was there, I supported the same line.
Yeah. Okay. So the question here is, let's put this question first to Brahma Chalani. Dr. Chalani, you know, the army chief says it's the Pakistani army. The Lieutenant General on the ground says it's the Pakistani army which has done this. But we haven't really seen anything at all which is a strong statement taking on Pakistan for the official hand of the Pakistani army. Why so?
It's a good question. First, why did it take the army chief 15 long days to link Pakistan with the incursion? In fact, this particular incursion began on September 24th, as you know. But to save Dr. Singh's meeting with Prime Minister Sharif in New York, the government suppressed the news on this incursion. And the first news on this incursion came only after the Singh-Sharif meeting in New York. It's apparent that India's Pakistan policy is adrift. It has lost all sense of direction. It is so adrift that it's emboldened the Pakistan army to stage repeated aggression. We have had the decapitation of 2 soldiers in January, then later we saw the slaughter of 5 Indian soldiers, and in recent months we have seen a series of attacks. We had an attack on the Indian consulate in Jalalabad. Public memory in India is so short that we have forgotten about that attack on Jalalabad consulate, which killed about a dozen Afghans, mostly children. And then more recently we've had some other attacks, the Samba raid, and now the latest surprise, this incursion. So given these series of attacks, the question that arises is twofold. One, about India's Pakistan policy. And the second question is about the army leadership. Why is the Indian army repeatedly being caught unawares? Why is the Indian army not able to inflict deterrent punishment on the Pakistan army? Why is the Pakistan army able to catch Indian army repeatedly by surprise by carrying out cross-border raids into Indian territory?
Well, I think the second question is relevant, but I'd go with the first question because it raises a whole can of worms. And I'll put this question to the person who is part of the UPA, that this is a very serious charge, Mehboob Beg. The Indian army is engaged in a battle with Pakistan-backed terrorists, the Pakistani army-backed infiltrators since September 24th. Nawaz Sharif meets Manmohan Singh on September 29th in New York. So this government has to come clean. Do you think your Prime Minister did not know about what was going on in Karan? Or are you of the view that irrespective of the Pakistani army involvement in what is going on in Karan, Dr. Manmohan Singh should be meeting the Prime Minister of a neighboring country who's allowing his army to carry out this kind of infiltration attempt in Karan?
Arnab, just hang on for a minute. Question is, you said you are Prime Minister. He is our Prime Minister, number one. We have an elected government in place. We have Defense Ministry. We have External Affairs Ministry.
Yeah, but has your... one second. First of all, you're going on semantics.
No, Arnab,
you're going on semantics.
Please,
one minute. Just a clarification there. You see, I said your Prime Minister. I can equally say, no, 1 minute. If you were to say your Prime Minister to me, I would not take offense. He's your Prime Minister, my Prime Minister, and hence there's nothing factually incorrect in my describing him as your Prime Minister as well. Because his being my Prime Minister does not take away his being your Prime Minister either. So I think we should not go on semantics. Go on the fact.
Arnab, you started by saying you are Prime Minister. Therefore, I wanted to make it a little clear. One,
sir, come to the point, sir.
Please, we have to have. Please, if you allow me, I will come to the point. The point is, you have to believe the elected government in place. Don't tell me that they neither have the intent. There are 2 points here: the intent and the definite plan, policy in place. I think they have both. You can neither suspect or doubt their intentions or plans and policy. What did he talk about even there? If you are against the talks, even there, he talked about the same thing.
Did the Prime Minister not know about this gun battle along the LOC? 5 days this goes on. Let's get in Seshadri Chari. 5 days this goes on. Would military or intelligence not have told him that they have enough information about the Pakistani army? The information General Bikram Singh gave me today, I am pretty sure, Seshadri Chari, this information was with the Prime Minister of India on the 29th when he met Nawaz Sharif in a hotel room in New York.
Certainly, Arnav, in your own channel and in many other channels, the army chief very categorically said that this particular action started much before 23rd September. 23rd September is not the cutoff date that the army is talking about. There were more than 40 to 50 people that is being reported. We don't
Precisely,
know.
yes.
There were only 40 to 50.
Yes.
There could be 400 or 500 also.
Yes.
But even if we believe the army chief as saying that September 23rd was the day when they noticed this action and started taking counter action against, we can't believe that this army chief would not have told the Prime Minister, or we cannot believe that the Prime Minister did not know it.
So was there an attempt to downplay the whole thing? Then it's a very
the Prime Minister.
That means there was an attempt to downplay the whole thing and keep it away from public glare.
He should talk or not.
No, 1 second. Seshadri Chari, let's put the facts on the table. Let's put the facts on the table. When is the army chief speaking? After the media has gone big on the story for the last 1 week. When the media has put the story in public focus, when it is in the front pages, when it is being discussed on television shows, when our reporters are on the spot, when we are putting the pressure and asking the army, and hence also asking the government, Kumar Ketkar, what on earth is going on in Karan, then you are coming out with this kind of a wishy-washy response.
On the show.
Even today, Kumar Ketkar, there is not a statement from the government. Even today, there is no statement from the government.
We do not know for a fact whether Prime Minister raised this issue with Nawaz Sharif or not.
What do you mean?
Seshadri, only 1 point. We do not know for sure whether Prime Minister raised this subject with
only 1 point.
Nawaz Sharif or not. And second, what do you want? The talks to be called off?
Of course. Why should there be Prime Minister?
Launch a war, drop a bomb. What do you want?
You see, this is the problem. You see,
even Stephen Cohen recently was in India. Even Stephen Cohen, who is recently in India, was recently. He has also said the same thing. You cannot stop talking.
Kumar Ketkar,
during the height of the Cold War.
I have utmost regard for you.
No, forget the regards. During the height of the Cold War, Soviet Union and US kept talking. During the height of the Vietnam War, when Americans were bombing, Vietnamese kept on talking in Geneva and Paris.
And would the talks have continued if the Soviet army... One minute. If the Soviet army... If the Soviet army would have carried out... 1 minute. If the Soviet army would have carried out operations even in Alaska, would the talks have continued?
And 1 year after the attack on Parliament, Vajpayee also talked with General Musharraf. Within 1 year.
I'm questioning...
Even after Kargil war,
sir,
Arnab, even after Kargil war, we continued talking.
Arnab,
sir,
there is no substitute to talking.
Arnab,
you have to talk.
One question.
Arnab, the issue.
One question tonight. The only word. 1 minute.
Arnab, the issue here is whether we talk or not is not the issue.
It's not the issue exactly.
No, but you said whether
Arnab, what I am trying to say is,
it's not. You're making the issue of the talks. Yeah.
Arnab, it is important for the Prime Minister to come out clean on this because we just heard the High Commissioner of Pakistan to India say that the media is creating a hype about this incident and they are making a sensational out of this. They are now trying to picture that this as a sensation. This is not a sensation, this is a reality. And if the Indian media is also to be absolved of all these things, the Prime Minister should come
to all
clean
panelists,
and
please.
talk to the Prime Minister of Pakistan even now.
No, I'll be fair.
Place the things on record.
No, I'll be fair to all panelists. In fact, 2 of our panelists have not spoken. But
Now,
let us today be guided by the fact. The fact is that Shiv Shankar Menon is India's national security advisor. And Shiv Shankar Menon said that the basis for future talks with Pakistan would be a stoppage of violations along the line of control. But there is a fact that the gun battle was continuing till after a week after the talks. And from the information that I now have, it now appears, Maruf, that the gun battle was going on for 1 week before the talks. And I'm pretty sure that the military intelligence knew about the involvement of the Pakistani army. So the question is very serious. Was the government of India trying to suppress facts from the people of India? If the government of India is trying to suppress facts about the involvement of the Pakistani army from the people of India, then I have every right to ask, what is the agenda of the Indian government in trying to suppress those facts? We want full disclosure. Talks or no talks. Who cares about the talks? I want Maruf to come in on this.
Ornab, let me make a few points based on some of the points raised by your distinguished guests. The first thing is that there seems to be a complete disconnect between the vision of how to deal with Pakistan in South Bloc and what is the way to deal with Pakistan and the infiltrators on the ground. There is a point that the army chief alluded to: trust the man on the ground, take his opinion, take his feedback. That is often not taken, and there is a view in South Bloc amongst the bureaucrats and diplomats who make our policy and then feed our politicians and others on how to deal with Pakistan, that let the military handle the sideshow on the LOC, we'll look at the big picture. The second point is that Brahma raised the point that how is the Indian army allowing these intrusions to take place. From a military point of view, let me make a clarification. Without refuting completely Brahma's point, the point at issue is that the defenders, and we are in a defensive position on the LOC, we don't have the political sanction to cross the LOC. As a defender, you will always be taken by surprise, but the merit lies in how well you defend your territory. And I think credit must go to the Indian army that once an infiltration is identified, they come back pretty strongly against it. And the third point, which we must understand, that there is a gap between the Pakistani positions and our positions on the ground, and these are the low grounds like nalas and positions in depth that the infiltrators have been caught in. So they may be technically on Indian territory, but they are not occupying any position of vantage, and they don't have any advantage vis-a-vis, and that's why they've been annihilated. However, the government of India continues to talk with Pakistan in the view that this will all tide over. Unfortunately, even if we are to talk to Pakistan, we have shown no resolve, no position of strength, and no desire to punish Pakistan or make it feel the pain.
So that's because there is a tiny group
of war. If you want me to articulate it, I can do that.
Well, no. 1 second, Maruf. You see, the problem is, and before I go to Junaid Mattu, unfortunately, Junaid also probably represents that small, tiny constituency of people who've over-romanticized this whole business of talks with Pakistan. You know, this small, tiny, slowly, diminishing group of people seem to believe that there is something fantastic that is going to come out of the talks. And they're also so vested in the talks process. I don't know why. Maybe there are people who are in track 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. God knows how many tracks there are funded by which government between India and Pakistan.
Everybody does it.
I knew you'd get provoked.
I think it is simple realism. Where is romanticism?
There is this group of people who feel hurt with the truth. And the truth today is that the Pakistani army, not some nameless, faceless, organizationless group of people.
We recognize that fact.
No, we have never recognized the fact.
We recognize that fact. All those who want peace recognize the fact that there is a war going on at LOC and caused by the Pakistani invaders and Pakistani infiltrators. Nobody is denying that fact.
No,
we recognize that fact.
It is not Pakistani infiltrator. It is the Pakistani army. It is the Pakistani army.
How do you react is the question, not...
The point tonight is you have solid evidence.
Yeah, so
you have the evidence. You call off the talks. Your army chief is going on record. Your army chief is going on record to say that this has been organized by the Pakistani army. Your GOC in the
northern. Said in so many words to Nawaz Sharif that we will not tolerate this.
Why is the Prime Minister not saying it? Tell me one thing, Kumar Ketkar. Tell me one thing. Tell me one thing, Kumar Ketkar. No. Tell me, Kumar Ketkar, has the Prime Minister said so in as many words after what has come out in Karan? Why is the Prime Minister of India quiet on Karan? Why is the Defence Minister of India quiet on Karan? Why is the Foreign Minister of India quiet on Karan? Does it not matter to anybody? For God's sake, why is the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, who said a few days back, our eyes are set in a hotel room 10,000 kilometers away where we hope friendship will flourish between the two nations? Why is Omar Abdullah, what does he have to say now? That there is solid evidence about the involvement of the Pakistani army at Karan. They've all gone quiet now. They've all gone quiet. And they've all gone underground now. They're not speaking one word now because they know that they have been completely exposed on this. Let's get Junaid Mattu in. Junaid Mattu, your take on what's going on and what you would like to see coming out from the Pakistani government. Mehboob Beg after Junaid Mattu.
Arnab, a little faux pas. I had informed your studio I've left the People's Conference. I'm no longer with the PC. There was this presumptuous kind of introduction that I would say something. No, I don't. Believe me, I do not believe in the romantic element of talks. If there are talks between India and Pakistan, they should have an agenda. India has genuine grievances. This intrusion is a genuine grievance. Being a Kashmiri does not mean that I will tell you that this intrusion should be taken in a very casual fashion by India. No, it's a serious breach of trust. The sanctity of the line of control. We talk about politics. Even if you have ideological differences in politics, I will still say that the sanctity of the line of control needs to be maintained. And an incident of the magnitude that has happened in Karan should certainly ruffle feathers. And now we talk about talks.
No, we'll come to the talks part later. In fact, Junaid, if I may just come in, I find at this point of time that talks or no talks is irrelevant. There is a particular section here which seems to believe that everything invested in talks. Mehboob Beg, forget the talks.
Perhaps you're right. Perhaps Arnab, perhaps you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Thank you.
At a situation like this, if you will have talks, they will be purely cosmetic.
You see,
an incident like Karan has happened.
Thank you. It's for the first time that I've agreed with you on this. But
talks are meaningless.
No,
talks are meaningless.
The whole bottom line is this, Mehboob Beg. Therefore, talks are meaningless. But I don't understand the acute nervousness.
But Arnab,
the acute nervousness of a group of doves.
I disagree with you, Arnab.
Of a group of doves, acute nervousness that if we take on Pakistan, something will happen to the talks. I mean, this whole industry of peace perhaps will come down crashing. But who cares?
Arnab, give me a minute. Arnab, we all attend these conferences, all these track 2 conferences.
You do, I don't. Yeah.
I've interacted with these.
You do, I don't. Huh?
Yeah, all right, I'm rhetorically speaking about people who have opinion on this. The people of Pakistan, the doves, so to say, don't come from the military establishment.
No, one second.
Come on.
Mehboob Beg, you've made an accusation to come into the debate. No, I come back to the core issue. Junaid, 1 minute. The core issue tonight. 1 minute. Junaid, the core issue tonight is why is our government quiet? Core issue is why is our government quiet? And we have been unable to get a convincing reply from the UPA representative tonight, Mehboob Beg. Mehboob Beg's turn. He wants to have a second try at that.
Yes, please. Yeah, please listen to me for a minute. During Atal Bihari Vajpayee's time also we had Kargil, we had parliament attack, but he didn't stop talking. You say talking or no talking, you are not interested.
I'm not even on the issue of talks.
What you have to come to.
I'm not even on the issue of talks. I'm on the issue of silence. Why is the government silent?
I'll tell you.
Why is the government silent? Which self-respecting government will be silent when a foreign country carries out a military operation on its soil? Why is your government silent? Who cares about the talks?
You don't.
I'm not part of that the cottage industry of talks out there.
How Arnab, government of India has many things in place. It's not only talking. It's as you said and said rightly. You talk. There is something called diplomacy. There are many strategies. You have to strategize out. You can't have everything on the table and talk about.
I am only on the point of silence. I am on a point of silence, and I don't think I'm getting an answer. Seshadri Chari wanted to counter you.
No, Arnab.
Seshadri Chari first.
There are two quick things. Was holding talks with the Prime Minister when the Prime Minister of India knew that there is something happening from 23rd onwards. Was it part of the strategy? Number one. Number two, if he did talk to the Prime Minister, did he mention about this 23rd incident? Did he mention that your people have been infiltrating into my country and our army and your army are eyeball to eyeball and they are right now engaged in an action? Did he say that? If he said that, will he tell today, even now, will the government of India come clean on this and go to town on this issue that yes, I took up this issue with the Pakistani Prime Minister. Will he say that? If he doesn't say that, why doesn't he say that? Why is the government silent on this issue? And because the government is silent on this issue, we heard the High Commissioner, Pakistani High Commissioner to India, blame the Indian media for creating a sensation out of this issue.
And the government still was silent. No, the government was still silent. Salman Khurshid on September 29 said India and Pakistan can start afresh only if there's accountability from Pakistan. What did we get in response? Mehboob Beg, consider the facts. We saw the bluster from Salman Bashir, the Pakistani High Commissioner. Despite the bluster, despite the utter rubbish which was being spoken by the Pakistani envoy, not one word from our government. Our media goes out and exposes things. The Indian army goes out and blames Pakistan. Not one word from the government in response to Salman Bashir, and he said it on our soil. He said it on our soil, Mehboob Beg.
Make a point there.
I don't understand what kind of diplomacy this is. Yes, Brahma Chelani wants to come in. Brahma Chelani.
No, what do you want? Arnab, can you suggest few things what government should be doing?
Well,
what government
I am nobody to suggest. I am nobody to suggest, but I am certainly one to ask questions.
Arnab, can I come in
absolutely
here?
Right. Absolutely right. So government of India has many options. They can exercise the options whatever they deem fit in the interest, in the national interest. Besides, they will do that. They must be doing that.
Really? Besides downplaying Karan, they have done nothing. Maruf wanted to come in. Maruf is countering you after that. Junaid, Maruf first. Maruf first.
Okay. Now, let me say to all those people who are defending the position of the current government by saying the BJP government of Mr. Vajpayee also did the same in terms of talking to Pakistan. Just because the BJP did it, is that the template that the Congress-led government is going to follow? Is that your model that you are following? That means BJP has set the groundwork for what you should be doing with Pakistan. Can't you think out of the box? Can't you think of a new strategy? Can't you have a new approach to dealing with Pakistan? Pakistan knows and reacts to us every measure of ours, knowing that India will not react strongly enough.
No, you see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let Maruf complete.
If you allow me a minute, I'll tell you a new strategy. My new strategy is. Sir,
Maruf is completing.
Please let me speak. I'll tell you what a new strategy with Pakistan is. Sir, please let me speak.
Junaid, let him
complete. The first thing is diplomatically you should seek Pakistan's isolation from the international community and tell them that you either deal with Pakistan or you deal with us. No country suffers a neighbor who continues to inflict death and misery on its people and still has friendly relations with them. Economically, you ask for sanctions against them. You stop trading with them. Militarily, you can carry out some UAV-type strikes on terror targets which are existing and known to our intelligence services. What stops you from putting a bounty on the head of Hafiz Saeed's head? America has done it. Have you done it? You are allowing everybody to flourish in Pakistan and you say there is no option for you. There are many options. We have failed to be able to exercise tough options.
One can understand your
talk,
emotions.
but you can talk.
No, it's not emotion, sir. It's not emotion alone.
Always on the back foot.
No, it's not an emotional argument alone, sir, which Maruf is putting out.
Emotion, sir.
It's not emotion.
I'm reflecting the common view.
Countries with emotions and sentiments.
It is not emotion. Was the Prime Minister being... Was the Prime Minister... One minute. Mehboob Beg, was the Prime Minister, your Prime Minister and my Prime Minister, was your Prime Minister and my Prime Minister being emotional when he said in January 2013 that we want a good relationship with Pakistan but not at the cost of our national honor and our national interest? 20, 30, 40, 50, God knows how many Pakistanis backed by the Pakistani army come and enter our soil and launch this attack. Is that not an insult to our national honor and interest?
He would share everything with you.
Is that not an... What do you mean? Sir, this is not about sharing. This is about speaking.
I will tell you, Arnab.
This is simply...
I will tell you, why did Atal Bihari Vajpayee succeed?
Sir, can you look beyond...
I will tell you why. because he knew the bone of contention was resolution of Kashmir issue, and he took it head on with General Musharraf. He engaged himself with General Musharraf, and they came to a conclusion. They almost clinched the main issue, Kashmir issue, which was 4-point formula.
What resolution?
And then he went ahead.
Nobody from the Pakistani side or the Indian side. Nobody, sir. This is a mirage. This is a mirage that has been woven around us.
This is not
to
a
say
mirage.
There is a resolution. There is no resolution that Pakistan will accept short of the accession of the valley.
Maruf, don't. Don't.
Sir, there is no 4-point. I know the 4 points. Those 4. Are you, sir? I know the 4 points. Can you have Kashmir? Can you have an Indian territory jointly administered by Pakistan?
Kashmir on board.
Sir, I know the 4 points. Can you have Indian territory administered by Pakistan?
No, who says that? Who says
Sir, that is all delusion.
But, it was said that borders cannot be rewritten, but these can be made irrelevant, and things moved forward.
You know, I am only on one point today which none of you are addressing. And first of all, Mehboob Beg and Junaid Mattu.
Yeah, they move forward that we have all these infiltrations.
There is one second, 1 minute. I just want to say one thing. You see, I am completely aware that I am 1 minute, Junaid, 1 minute. Mehboob Beg, listen to me. Mehboob Beg, listen to me.
Mehboob Beg, vested interest groups.
Mehboob Beg, listen to me. Who's the interested group?
Yes, please.
There is. Please understand. The whole country, everyone watching, whether from Bhopal, Mumbai, Guwahati or Kanyakumari today, know that in our national capital of Lutyens, Delhi, there are a group of interested groups who are part of track 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, God knows how many million levels of talks. In them runs this whole cottage industry. And you are aware today that they are simply asking you one question, that in 2002, and I put this question to Brahma Chelani, in 2002, 3 years Brahma Chelani, after the Kargil conflict, the Indian Air Force was authorized to take action following a serious violation on the LOC. If I am not mistaken, it happened near the Lunda post. Tensions were high, a statement was made. The government in 2002 was not quiet. It did not shoot off the shoulders of the army alone. It took on. 2 or 3 years after Kargil, it took on the Pakistani establishment. That's not happening today. Is that right or wrong, sir, that assessment?
Well, I think you ask a very important question. There are two aspects to this. One, how do we actually correct India's Pakistan policy, which is adrift? In fact, India's Pakistan policy currently is a blend of two elements, naivety and appeasement. We need to correct that policy because that policy is imposing serious costs on India. In fact, it's inviting greater aggression by Pakistan. The other aspect, which often doesn't get any attention in the media in India, are the political constraints the government has imposed on the military. The army is constrained. The army does not have the leeway to respond effectively and appropriately to Pakistani acts of aggression. Those constraints need to be removed. The army needs to have the leeway to take preemptive action against an impending act of aggression,
exactly,
or if the aggression takes place, to inflict a just retribution. If you don't inflict a just retribution on the enemy, you will not deter the enemy from carrying out further acts of terror or further acts of aggression. Right now, the army is too constrained, and unfortunately the army leadership is not speaking up. For example, why did it take the army chief 15 days to say in public that Pakistan was behind this incursion? This fact was apparent from day one.
Exactly.
We need the army leadership.
Arnab, can I make a...
No, let him complete. Let him complete. He's making a very important point. This point is very simple and let it be understood by each and every Newshour viewer today. Brahma Chelani says it is impossible that this government did not know the hand of the Pakistani army when the Prime Minister was meeting Nawaz Sharif. You see, and the disclosure, whatever has been made by the army chief now, has happened after relentless pressure from the media and the people of this country who want to know what's happening in Karan. Please complete, Brahma Chelani.
Precisely.
Please complete your point. Please do complete your point.
You know, you're absolutely right. But for the effort of the media, but for the fact that newspapers and television channels like yours have been focusing on this incursion, we wouldn't have got this admission. The fact is that today, India's Pakistan policy has lost all direction.
That's the point.
And the reason why this policy is adrift is because we have marginalized the MEA, we have marginalized the professional bodies. Decision making is concentrated in the Prime Minister's office. Foreign policy is being shaped and is being driven by the personal ad hoc interventions of the Prime Minister to the detriment of India's long-term interests. So the whims and the fancies of the Prime Minister are in effect driving India's Pakistan policy.
Well,
that's not the way you shape or drive foreign policy.
But the Prime Minister must be consistent.
It has to be based on integrated. Well, sorry?
I'm saying the Prime Minister has to be consistent. The Prime Minister of a country has to be consistent. After the January beheading, the Prime Minister said it cannot be business as usual with Pakistan after this heinous act. You know, and everything was...
Exactly.
Well, then we are asking the Prime Minister today, how does he forget what he said in January?
With full respect to Maruf and
Pakistan,
are we not inferring the so-called whims and fancies of the Prime Minister? What
inferring?
I mean,
why is the Prime Minister saying
policy of Prime Minister is based on whims and fancies?
No, why is the Prime Minister...
How can we infer that Prime Minister decides whatever to be done on the basis of whims?
No,
and all these tracks you mentioned, track 2 to
so
track 100.
So what do you think the Prime Minister did not know? The Prime Minister did not know what was going on in Karan?
I'm not on any track, so I can be comfortable.
Did the Prime Minister know what was going on in Karan?
Track 2 to track 100 do not determine the foreign policy.
The simple question...
determine the foreign
simple
policy.
Question.
Track 200 maybe drawing the data. They do not determine the foreign policy.
Simple
so
question.
Prime Minister's whims and Prime Minister's
simple question
are inferences of those who are unhappy with the present establishment.
Simple question the whole country is asking the Prime Minister that Mr. Prime Minister, when Mr. Prime Minister, did you know, did you know as the Prime Minister of India what was going on in Karan?
Come clean to the media on every single small point.
Well, I thought transparency is important in democracy.
Transparency is not the part of the war strategies.
Really? But I thought you just said there was no war.
Not even great Winston Churchill was part of the media strategy when he was... Not even great Winston Churchill was so clean to the media when things were happening.
So
and there is
this is excellent.
100 books are written on how Winston Churchill prevented media from doing
how can you as a member of the media shoot the messenger? So I find that completely surprising.
I am not saying a question of media or shooting the messenger. I am simply saying that every time it is not necessary to point to point.
I am only asking a simple question tonight. That why it is a simple question.
It is a very serious question, and I am with the serious question.
The problem
I am not against that question. My point is simple. Why should Prime Minister come clean every second day? Every second day is what is happening in the policy establishment.
The problem is
there is something called secrecy. There is something called secrecy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Not determined by track 2 and track 100.
I am very sorry, but I must say this, that whether it be the ordinance or whether it be what the Pakistani army has done in Karan, the people of India have every right to ask what is going on there, and the Prime Minister of India is responsible for telling us as to what's going on there. Maruf, please. Maruf, please.
Can I make a point?
Junaid, after Maruf, yeah.
Arnab, can I just quickly respond? I just want to respond. Sir, please, let me quickly respond. One, Brahmachalani rightly made...
Oops, just lost the line there with Maruf at a critical time. 1 second. Junaid, you wanted to come in. Till I get the line back with Maruf, why don't you go?
Yes, I need... I've been patient, so let me respond to Maruf in a few words. I have no love lost for the ideology of Beg Sahib or what he's saying, but he's right in asking you what is the alternative. Now when we talk of talks don't have to be appeasement by nature or apologetic by nature.
Who is talking about talks? Why do all of you go into talks? Am I even asking a question about talks?
You are talking about
talks. Who is talking? I've said it repeatedly that I'm not talking about talks. You see, Junaid, Junaid, my question is only about silence. It's not about talks at all. Pardon me?
Arnab, there is a reason for the conspicuous silence. There is a reason for the conspicuous silence.
Which is?
The wavering internal and external policy of India, both vis-a-vis Kashmir, both vis-a-vis Pakistan. As somebody rightly said, that there is not a constant benchmark of policy, that this is our 5-year policy, 10-year policy with Pakistan, or about our internal problem with Kashmir. That is the basic reason of silence.
I don't know, Junaid. I don't understand what... I don't know. I'm sorry, Junaid, but I don't understand this line of...
What do you want the government to do?
I don't understand this line.
What do you want the government to do?
Well, 1 minute. Not me. Let me tell you this. Not me. Now put this question to everyone and anyone tonight. Mehboob Beg will agree, Seshadri Chari will agree, and Brahma Chelani will agree. The entire country, Seshadri Chari right now, wants a stronger statement from the Indian government, from their own government, on what has happened in Karan, directly condemning the role of the Pakistani establishment, acknowledging what the Indian Army Chief has said, and thereby warning the Pakistani government to...
One minute.
What to restrain?
No, government might do that.
When?
We don't know.
When?
We cannot determine government's time.
When?
Why should we presume government is not doing anything?
Why are you speaking for the government? They haven't spoken yet.
I am not speaking for the government.
They haven't spoken
for
yet.
Anybody who is advocating peace and advocating patience. I am just advocating peace and patience.
No government.
I am not interested in any...
Kumar Ketkar, 1 minute. No government needs to be... No government ought to need to be goaded by the media or the people of this country on the ordinance.
Take its own time.
Let me not remind you on the ordinance, the way the government had to be goaded by its own political party, and on this particular case, I don't know what the government is waiting to be goaded by. If the government keeps quiet, how will it look? Seshadri Chari.
Arnav, the government did the same thing when it was the incursion from Chinese side in Ladakh. It was for the media to expose that the Chinese PLA had intruded almost 14 kilometers inside the border. Afterwards, the Prime Minister sent out an emissary from his office, Mr. Shyam Sharan, who gave a report, and your channel discussed that report at length, where the ITBP told them that it is not just 14 kilometers but more than 600 kilometers, that is what the PLA has intruded. Even on this account, the Prime Minister kept quiet. The Army Chief also kept quiet. Nobody spoke anything about it. It was the media which exposed this. Again, even in Pakistan side, this border thing which has taken place, it is the media which has exposed. And this is exactly where we want the Prime Minister to come clean on this issue. Mr. Kumar Ketkar wants to know why the Prime Minister should come clean on every day.
Yeah.
If he is not coming clean on every issue, this is what will happen. For the sake of security of this country, the Prime Minister has to come clean. Otherwise, every High Commissioner will do this. Pakistan has had a very clear policy. In 1947-48, they had Operation Venus. In 1965, they had Operation Gibraltar. In 1999, they had Operation Kargil. And every time they said, even in 1962, there are records which says Pakistan really was sorry because they did not take advantage of the Chinese aggression.
Precisely.
And just let me remind you, your own channel showed a small news item yesterday which you have also missed and everybody seems to be missing. Just as this thing was going on in Karan, there was a news report put out by Times Now yesterday that China is building up its military operational strength in the western sector near Bhutan. This was the news item put out by you. So let us connect Pakistani action on border and the Chinese action.
I agree.
There is a definite strategy behind all these things.
You see,
and this is all the more serious if the Prime Minister chooses to keep quiet on these issues.
You see, one point. You see, this is a question that unfortunately all the doves have missed out. What are the self-proclaimed doves missing out? The self-proclaimed doves, and I'm not in Kumar Ketkar, don't look at me like that, because you feel you are taking everything personally today. I'm just saying this on a broader note to all the doves watching tonight. These doves are not realizing the dangers of the Prime Minister keeping quiet. Today, Maruf, the Northern Army commander, the senior most officer there who spoke after the Army Chief, Lieutenant General Sanjeev Chachra, he clearly said that this is going to continue. This is going to be the trend till the onset of winter. Now, I think the danger is, Maruf, that if the Prime Minister keeps quiet, if the Defence Minister keeps quiet, there's no political pressure, if the Foreign Minister keeps quiet and only lets the Army do the batting, that means you're saying that the Army deal with the problem. You got no political support from us. We will carry on with these interminable talks, and the Army will deal with the situation once in a while.
That's a very important question.
Exactly. That's the only question tonight. Yes, Maruf.
Arnab, that's a very important question you have raised. Arnab, that's a very important point you have raised. Ever since the beheading of our soldiers took place, our political establishment has lost control of the management of the relationship with Pakistan on the LOC and the borders. They must get back into the play. They must revisit their entire strategy. They must rethink on how to deal with Pakistan. There are ways to deal with Pakistan. The second point is, and some of the people defending the government and the Prime Minister have said, do you want every little incident the Prime Minister to react to? Is the loss of so many soldiers, is the loss of lives of so many of our brave men a little incident? And the same Prime Minister has said it cannot be business as usual. The same Prime Minister has reacted to a small remark by Rahul Gandhi and returned the whole ordinance. And that was not, good enough for you to to take a stand. After all, the whole cabinet had apparently previously, in their entire wisdom, had thought through what to do. And suddenly Rahul Gandhi had to remind them they had all got it wrong. And here, the whole nation is asking for a response. And you say it's a little incident. Let me also tell you, sir, that Pakistan understands historically, please read India-Pakistan relations. They understand a response of strength. They understand your ability to talk, from your ability to inflict pain. If you can't do that, no amount of talk about being a nuclear power will do you any good, because you have lost the ability to deter the enemy to trouble you.
Are you advocating war with Pakistan?
Goes emotional. He's emotional on everything. You can't have.
I am not, sir. I am not. I have just articulated to you. I have articulated to you earlier how in how many ways you can inflict pain on Pakistan.
1 minute.
Go to the extreme of
1 minute. I don't think one minute. 1 minute. You know, one second. 1 minute, please. Junaid Mattu, 1 minute, please. Junaid Mattu, 1 minute. Don't interrupt, please. 1 second. Junaid, 1 minute. Don't interrupt. 1 second. 1 second, please.
No, it is not the question of emotion. I am very sorry to say, Mr. Junaid.
Junaid Mattu, 1 minute, please. Please come in when I allow you to. Yes.
Pure and simple strategy. Please remember that. This is not emotion.
Sorry?
We are not dealing with a child. We are not dealing with a juvenile criminal. We are dealing with a country which has inflicted some of the most major heinous crimes on us since 1947-48. They have fought 5 wars. Their strategy is to cut this vocabulary of and bleed you.
They know the knowledge of
we are not dealing with a small.
1 minute. I have just one thing to say to tonight. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Tonight, I have one thing to say to Mehboob Beg.
Indian Army loses.
To Mehboob Beg.
If the Indian Army loses people, is there no emotion in that?
To Mehboob Beg.
We have emotions for that.
To Mehboob Beg.
It's not in
to Mehboob Beg. Junaid Mattu, please come in when I allow you to. 1 minute. 1 minute, Junaid. Don't interrupt me right now. To Mehboob Beg, who attacks Maruf Raza and says Maruf Raza is always emotional. Let me tell you, my Mehboob Beg, it is better for Maruf to be emotional and feel about what his country is going through, like all of us, than to be a politician and be a hypocrite. Because you know what Farooq Abdullah said in August after the death of 5 soldiers. Let me 1 minute, Mehboob Beg. Let me follow up. Let me follow up with what he said. 1 minute, Mehboob Beg. If you don't have the courage to listen to what I will say now.
Judgments on everything.
1 minute. Passing judgments, Mehboob Beg. Mr. Beg, calm down. Let me tell you the facts. Because you are afraid. You are afraid today of what I am going to say next. You are scared of what I'm going to say next.
Nobody is afraid.
You are afraid, otherwise you wouldn't interrupt me.
You have drawn conclusions.
Don't interrupt me and I will say something. Don't interrupt me and I will say something.
Please don't draw conclusions.
You have drawn a conclusion which is wholly and completely wrong, and let me tell you why I think it is wrong to be hypocritical.
You have drawn a conclusion.
And I'll tell you, no, 1 second.
I have a view.
Mehboob Beg, hold your view, but then allow me to expose that view today. Please allow me. I take 30 seconds and then you respond. Let's understand that.
Expose your view, please.
Well, let me please explain it with facts.
All viewers know all the views.
Mr. Mehboob Beg, let me tell you this. You can never accuse us of inconsistency. You can never accuse us of inconsistency. I can accuse you and your party of inconsistency, because Farooq Abdullah in August said after the death of 5 soldiers, and have the courage to listen to it, he said the people of India, he said, 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Farooq Abdullah said this. You don't want to listen. You are scared. You're scared to listen.
You don't behave as an anchor.
Mr. 1 minute. Don't tell me how I should behave as an anchor. Mehboob Beg, I'm asking you one question today. Listen to what Farooq Abdullah said. Farooq Abdullah said this. Please do not interrupt me, please. Listen to what Farooq Abdullah said. Farooq Abdullah, your party's leader Farooq Abdullah said after the death of 5 soldiers, and he said this. the people of India will not want that our soldiers keep on dying and we keep talking about friendship. Both cannot go on at the same time. That was not Maruf Raza speaking. That was Farooq Abdullah speaking.
Prime Minister also said the same.
Really?
But then you can't...
Really? No, so you are taking a different line now?
To move forward.
And when somebody says what he's saying, you are saying that the other person is getting emotional.
Not taking a
there you are.
Line. Please, Arnab, nobody is taking a different line. But you can't get stuck there. You have to move forward.
Stuck? I quoted what your leader said and you say can't get stuck. What should we get stuck on?
Move forward how,
you
sir?
Have to move forward.
How?
Articulate
issues, your vision.
Move forward.
Come
move
on.
Towards peace and progress.
How?
First you take them on and then let's move forward.
By resolving issues, by talking.
Sir, peace will come from both sides. Both sides have to respect peace.
Absolutely right. Who says only from one side? It has to come from both sides. As it came during Atal Bihari Vajpayee's time, because he had the political will to go ahead.
They're doing that.
Closing comments on the debate. 4 minutes left on the Newshour debate tonight. 4 minutes left on the Newshour debate. Let us say this.
Are they doing that now? Is this evidence of peace?
Everybody has to hold their views.
Let me say
everybody has to hold their views, but
let me say this.
Raza, and you get to expound your views, but everybody has to hold
Junaid, 1 minute, please come in when I let you to.
What is the alternative?
1 second. 1 minute, Junaid, 1 minute, please.
Do not let me to.
Junaid, so Shadri Chari, 96 ceasefire violations by Pakistan this year, highest in the last 8 years. Latest flare up. Before the latest flare-up, there were 18 ceasefire violations in 1 month alone. These are recorded facts. Okay, almost as many number of violations as in 2009, which were 29. There are 18 in 1 month alone, which means nowadays you have probably 6 or 7 times the density of infiltrations which are happening. I don't think this country can afford to be blind about this anymore. And if we are asking the questions, I don't think anyone can respond by saying, oh, you're being so emotional. No self-respecting country will let such a situation go unattended. All I'm saying today is let the Prime Minister of India speak. We want to hear the Prime Minister speak. That's all.
We saw 3 full-fledged wars.
That's all. We are saying speak up.
We didn't resolve
speak up without encouragement or goading. Say Shadri Chari.
Arnab, we had 3 full.
Say Shadri Chari.
We are not saying that, sir. We are
say
not
Shadri Chari. 2 minutes on the debate. We have debate number 2 coming up in 5 minutes. Say Shadri Chari.
Arnab, why we are saying that this Prime Minister should come clean? Actually, we are trying to give an exit route to this Prime Minister. See, right from the times of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, when she wanted to take action in 1971 during the Bangladesh war, she consulted opposition parties, and one of the envoys that she sent was Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee to UN and other places to talk about all these issues. Narasimha Rao did it. Even Atal Bihari Vajpayee did it. During Atal Bihari Vajpayee's time, services of former prime ministers were drawn. And this is an ongoing process. Every Prime Minister is expected to take the advantage of the earlier Prime Minister's experience in dealing with Pakistan and other issues also. So all that we expect this Prime Minister is to keep the links with our own people.
Just speak up and take them on. That's all.
The media is not against this Prime Minister.
Let the Indian Army
is not against this Prime Minister. Mind you, again, on your show today, I am telling you, officially, we are not against talks. We have never said we should not talk.
But talks are not the issue. Silence is.
Talk, but have a strategy. Talk, but have an agenda. Talk from a position of strength.
Okay, gentlemen.
Not talking from
closing comments from Brahmachalani. Closing comments from Brahmachalani. Do you expect the government to speak up finally? Brahmachalani, expect the government to speak up finally, and should they?
You want clarification? I did not say little incident. I said every incident. Let Prime Minister not come clean every day on every incident.
This is not every
I did not say little incident.
This is
I did not say it's a common incident. I did not say it's a little incident. I did not say it is irrelevant. I said it is very serious.
Our forces have been fighting them for 15 days. It is very serious. It is very serious.
I said very serious, but I merely said that does not mean necessarily the Prime Minister should come every time,
the External Affairs Minister, Foreign Minister, Political Establishment, Defence Minister, somebody. Too much to expect?
But I am not expecting, or I am not.
Kumar Ketkar Sahab, this is not a small incident.
But I am not saying it is small. Sheshadri, I did not say little incident. I did not say small incident. I did not say irrelevant incident. I have merely said Prime Minister may have his own reasons for keeping quiet, and therefore we should not expect him to react to every single day to the media's questions. I am not disrespecting media. I am not disrespecting Prime Minister. Why should we presume? Why should we presume that Prime Minister also has? But why should we not? Why should we not recognize that Prime Minister is also a patriot? Prime Minister is not.
No, one second. Who's questioning the Prime Minister?
Prime Minister doesn't want
We are recognizing the fact that he is a patriot.
Whatever Prime Minister may be doing, you can say what Prime Minister is doing is wrong.
We are not
you are absolutely right.
One second.
You are right in saying Prime Minister is doing wrong, but he has his own reasons.
But
he has his own reasons, perhaps.
Incident is not patriotism.
But he has his own reasons.
No, one minute. You know, the problem is very easy, but not on this channel. Very easy to distract. First of all, we're not talking about talks. We're not questioning patriotism. We are only questioning official silence. And silence today is not good. That's only one point we are making. Brahma Chalani, going forward from now, will we, in your view, see some more aggressive statements coming in from New Delhi, from the political establishment?
What your debate has highlighted is the need for India to change course. If we do not change course, if we stay on the present track, it will be an open invitation to Pakistan to bring India's border security under siege. Because we have seen a pattern of increasing Pakistani cross-border aggression.
Yeah.
And this pattern will escalate without India changing course. And that course needs to be changed if the Prime Minister, speaks up, if he articulates a clear vision on our Pakistan policy. But if he continues to pursue a meandering course on Pakistan,
it won't help.
A personality-driven foreign policy towards Pakistan, I'm afraid we will see.
It certainly won't help. Well, on that note, the onus is now on the political leadership. I thank all our panelists for joining me on debate number 1 on the Newshour tonight.